Carpe diem, seizing the day for Canadians as we age.
Welcome to Carpe Diem. On this episode, we're talking all about Zoomer health. Now, we've heard that eyes are the windows to the soul, but did you know that they look into our bodies as well? Now, a comprehensive eye exam can diagnose symptoms of diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and so much more. And of course, an eye test will provide an accurate prescription for eyeglasses or contact lenses. Now, last year, I decided to visit my friends at Iris Optical so they could assess my eye health and get me set up with the perfect set of glasses. So let's take a look. Perfect.
And chin right on that chin rest. This one takes a photo of the back of your eye, so we're gonna get a picture of your retina, okay? Now this is going to give the doctor an idea how your distance vision is doing. This machine tests your peripheral vision. Every time you see that movement, you're going to click the button. Beautiful, keep going just like you are.
So we've already done the pre-testing. We have 3 pre-testing machines. So today what we're gonna do is we'll go through a little bit of your lifestyle issues, right? And some of the concerns that you have with your lifestyle. We're gonna go ahead and test your prescription, and then we're gonna do a little health check, and then we'll be done.
So can you tell me a little bit about the machines that we're using and what they do?
Here, so this machine right here, everyone's familiar with this guy right here. So this actually helps me get the actual prescription. So by giving you choices. So this is the subjective prescription, right? So we did the objective out there. So you and I have no influence, just the machine reads it. This gives the subjective reading. If I was to go like this, 1, 2, 3, is that nice and clear?
Oh my God.
Good. 4 better or 5?
Let's go. Let's see.
4. Very good. Show you what macular degeneration does look like. That's this guy right here.
Oh dear.
And your eye looks much more like that.
Yeah,
right?
mine looks just like that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yay.
So you don't have to be a doctor. You can see for yourself that I'm okay, right? Let's take you out to our optician, Charmaine, who'll help you select some glasses and go through some of the products with you, pros and cons, and all the options that are available.
Right. And that's where I'm afraid of is all the options.
This is the
How do you
fun
pick
stuff.
one?
So we have found some fantastic options here for you today. We want something that's gonna fit really good, sit nicely on the bridge of your nose, and is gonna be nice and comfortable for you.
Oh, these are fun.
Yeah.
So you know what? I've decided. I think these are the perfect glasses for me.
You're going to be able to wear them all the time and still see your computer, drive in them, and read in them. The other thing we want to decide upon is, because you're on devices, the blue light.
Yes.
It's very important to be protecting ourselves from the blue light we're getting from our lighting, and especially from our computer screens and devices all day long.
We want that. All these gadgets.
I know. So you're going to look towards the camera lens here, all right?
Okay.
I'm going to get this lined up as best I can here. All these measurements I have personalized to you and your glasses that you're wearing, okay? So this is good, old school, classic, little, just mark where her pupils are. So I have your measurements now. The glasses will take 7 to 10 business days before they arrive here, okay? To take care of them when you're not wearing them. They're not on your face, they're in your case, okay? You'll be given a case along with those.
I'm sure that this won't be my only pair. I'm just so very happy to have the first pair. And after that amazing eye test, I did get my first pair of big girl custom crafted reading glasses. I had that ta-da moment. And needless to say, I donate all my drugstore pairs and now have a small but growing collection of proper eyeglasses. When we come back, we'll talk to Dr. Nida Amani about the mind and body connection.
Still ahead on Carpe Diem.
So the thoughts that we think and the feelings that we have impacts our body.
Carpe diem, seizing the day for Canadians as we age.
Welcome back. Now, for centuries, humans have known the connection between our mental and physical health. It seems intuitive, right? I mean, how often have you felt the physical effects of depression, anxiety, or just the stresses of day-to-day life? Dr. Nida Amani has devoted her career to educating people about the benefits of preventative medicine. And I spoke with her about how stress can affect our bodies.
our endocrine secretion, our glands are connected to our mood, are connected to our emotions, are connected to our blood pressure, is connected to our pain, is connected to our sleep, is connected to what we eat. It's all one. It's connected to how we feel about our role in the world, what we feel our purpose is, how we live out our purpose, our connections with other people. It's all one. And I think that's been the biggest aha discovery for me as a person and as a physician, is that we are all one, and how do we treat ourselves as one, including that we are all one also as people, right, in our connections to each other, and also one with the planet and all life, animals, all plants, everything. So it's this unity, consciousness, with you, if you want to call it, that we are all one internally, our mind, body, spirit. We're all connected between each other, and also all life on earth, and how to go about living our life that way.
Well, tell me about the mind-body connection. Let's start with those two.
So we know that our thoughts manifest reality. So that's the mind, right? It's where thinking is occurring. It's how we processing the world. It's where we experience stress is in the mind, and there's also in emotions. And that has a direct impact on our physiology, right? At the cellular level. So the thoughts that we think and the feelings that we have about ourselves, about our life experiences, about what's happening, impacts our body, the manifestation of our body at the cellular level. And that's where we know that, you know, what we're taking into our mind, what we're exposing ourselves to, is then going to be translated into, you know, how our body is responding. So we know that stress, for example, will increase the flight or flight response if we have nothing to counteract it. And that in of itself will jack up our blood pressure, will jack up our heart rate, will jack up our blood sugar, will create a feeling of anxiety. And so we have to go about the problems that we're experiencing physically, considering that it's not going to take a pill or one treatment to address that. We have to look at how do we then address our thoughts and feelings in a very holistic way, because so many things interplay in impacting them.
Let's talk about physical fitness and our health. Let's dive in. You're a doctor.
Okay.
Tell me why it's important that I exercise.
The best exercise, because of its impact on our mind, because of its impact on getting us into what's called the parasympathetic nervous system, where our body heals and rests and restores itself, is the best movement is walking, right? So when we do studies, when we look at studies of centenarians all over the world, people who live over 100, whether they're from China, Italy, you know, Europe, they're walking, they're all walking. So that's the best, because it has an improvement in your cardiovascular fitness, but it also has an improvement in your emotional, psychological wellness. It has a mindfulness impact. It has a parasympathetic nervous system optimizing impact.
Yeah.
Outside of that kind of cardiovascular movement, it's really important to do stretching. So we teach quite a bit of stretching. So any movement like yoga, tai chi is really, really important, or just stretching at home. 10 to 15 minutes a day to start is fantastic. And then the third one is resistance training, right? So we want to be able to maintain and increase our muscle mass, because we start losing it over the age of 40 and then specifically over 50. And muscle mass loss is connected to a lot of problems physically, particularly increasing the risk of diabetes, increasing the risk of pain and falls. And so we want to maintain that muscle mass. And oftentimes the best way of doing it is with your own body weight. So again, yoga is a fantastic way to doing it, or just light weights, 10 repetitions 3 times a day kind of thing.
You haven't given us any major tasks. Be good to yourself, and as simple as go for a walk in nature. There you go. That's a start.
Well, none of it is rocket science, but it's a change in heart. It's a change in heart. It's a change in heart to really look at what's really, really important and what's the opportunity that we all have before us right now.
And I learned all about the mind-body connection the hard way. After too many long, stressful days at work and in life, my body went on strike. My cortisol levels were so high that my body would just break out in hives. So I started walking on the beach and meditating, and in the quiet of the walks, I just kept repeating, life is good, relax. My mind did calm my body, so I can give a personal testimonial to how powerful the mind-body connection is. Please don't ignore the physical symptoms of stress if you're suffering. In these times, we could all use a little TLC. When we return, we talk to nutritionist Julia, and she gives us tips on gut health.
Still ahead on Carpe Diem.
Now, when we are eating raw foods, it actually takes a lot more work for the body to assimilate these nutrients.
Carpe Diem. Seizing the day for Canadians as we age.
Welcome back. We know we're aging. We can see it in the mirror, but what about the parts of us that we can't see? Well, with each passing year, many bodily functions slow down, including our digestive tract. It just might not work as efficiently or as quickly as it used to. The muscles become stiffer, weaker, and less efficient. Nutritionist Julia explains how we should eat for our optimal Zoomer digestive health.
As we talk about aging, again, I'm going to bring up the importance of your stomach acid. And as we age, we do reduce our production of stomach acid. And stomach acid is really important because it's kind of one of the first steps to digestion. It's breaking down our food, preparing our food for assimilation, making sure that the enzymes are actually catching up to all the proteins and fats and carbohydrates that we are putting into our bodies. Now, when we are eating raw foods, it actually takes a lot more work and a lot more stomach acid for the body to break down these foods, for the body to assimilate these nutrients. So when in reverse, if you're eating more cooked foods on the opposite end, then you're actually already helping with that digestion process. You're not adding more load to the body to try to break down these foods and then assimilate these nutrients. They're already cooked down, and it's much, much easier for a stomach that has reduced stomach acid to really assimilate these nutrients.
Are we losing any nutritional value when we cook our organic produce, or are we not?
When you are cooking, definitely when it comes to vegetables, for example, unfortunately you will lose some of the nutrients. But when you're weighing against a maybe compromised digestive system, maybe you're not even able to really digest raw foods, the benefits outweigh the disadvantages of that.
And at what age do you think that we should really think about transitioning from a lot of raw into softer foods that our bodies can digest more easily?
Starting when you're approaching, 45, 50, at that age is really when you're seeing more of a reduction in these enzymes that are being produced in the digestive system and the stomach acid. So at that age, really start to be more mindful of the types of food you're eating and the amount of raw foods. It's not to say that you can't have raw foods at all, and raw foods are great, but when it comes to, let's say raw broccoli or raw cauliflower, raw carrots, or raw tomatoes, those are things that you should really consider actually eating cooked.
What other tips do you have for us?
Making sure the nutrient density, making sure that you're eating real food all the time, not too much, and really mostly plants. As we age also, our stomach acid is actually not producing as vigorously as it was when we were younger. So the types of food that we're eating, meats, for example, it's actually much harder for us to digest. When we talk about protein and muscle retention as we age, it also does deteriorate because the amino acids that we're getting from the foods, it's harder for us to assimilate. So it's really, really important to, again, making sure that we are eating mostly real food, and then also that you're spreading out your meals in smaller meals and more frequent throughout the day, so that you're giving yourself more time to really assimilate and break down the food and not stuffing yourself with too much food all at once.
Thank you, Julia, for your good advice, and I look forward to more.
Absolutely.
Interesting lesson, right? I changed my eating habits after that interview. Now I eat my raw salads only at lunch and roast all my veggies for dinner. Both are simple and effective ways to lessen the potential discomfort of eating the wrong things at the wrong time. When we come back, we'll talk vaccines.
Still ahead on Carpe Diem.
Okay, be brave. Okay, don't cry.
Carpe Diem. Seizing the day for Canadians as we age.
Welcome back. Right now, we're all talking about the COVID vaccine. Why do we need vaccines? According to the World Health Organization, vaccines train our immune system to create antibodies, the same natural proteins that our body uses to fight infections. And according to Vaccines Canada, today there are vaccines available to protect us against at least 25 diseases, such as tetanus, influenza, shingles, and measles. In Canada, vaccination against these diseases saves millions in treatment costs and is estimated to save over 420,000 lives a year. Did you get your flu shot? 2020 was a year that had our healthcare professionals coming up with innovative ways to serve as many of us as possible, safely. This video will show you how I got my 2020 flu shot.
Drive forward, 15 minutes. Okay, no problem.
Due to COVID-19, the BC College of Physicians has encouraged doctors to hold outdoor flu vaccination clinics. So, here I am.
So this is our second run of drive-through flu shot clinic. We are very blessed today to have perfect weather. We will be stationed under these tents, and the cars literally come up to us. Then we will get people to roll down their windows, give us their arms, and we will inject. Then they will be instructed to drive and park for 15 minutes. Then they are directed to then leave. So all our patients are pre-registered. They're our own patients. We know exactly what their history is. So when they come, we basically know that they're here. My staff takes their name off, and then away we go.
You have, for the first time, a very well-organized, high-performance, drive-through flu clinic.
This has allowed us to do over 300 shots in just a few hours. So it helps us to meet the demand and the volume.
Find the landmark.
So we are part of the mentorship program at UBC, and Dr. Wong decided to host us as basically her trainees for this outdoor flu clinic. We're really excited to get everybody vaccinated and sort of get the word out there about how important it is to stay safe during this time. I think what's so great about this outdoor clinic is that families can come together, in one car and get all their vaccines done at once. It's very efficient. You can make it a little family outing.
Good girl. Oh my gosh, you're so brave.
I think we just have to protect ourselves against, the viruses these days, especially with coronavirus going around. So, yeah, just trying to protect ourselves. Want other children to do it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think, the outdoor flu vaccination clinic is a great idea. In an outdoor setting, then it makes the infection prevention precautions a lot easier because we're in an outdoor setting, and a beautiful day like this, then obviously it's much easier and nicer for everybody. In this particular year, with the COVID pandemic on our shoulders, we really have to get the influenza vaccination rates up.
Okay, so what we have in the trays are under ice. We have a few of the shots that are already pulled up, the vaccines. So, for instance, this is the flu viral, which is one of the several types of flu shots that are being given. We all believe in being proactive, the prevention of disease, and particularly flus, which is so preventable, and yet if you catch it, it can be actually quite devastating, especially for the elderly. And not just the elderly, but also the people who are in contact with the elderly. They understand that they must get immunized in order not to potentially put the elderly at risk.
Clinically, it's actually very difficult to differentiate the two diseases. We may not be able to diagnose COVID versus influenza, and we might have to swap you for both. So, do not underestimate the difference that you can make by taking on the influenza vaccinations.
Okay, be brave. Okay, don't cry.
Oh!
Very
simple.
Oh, God,
So
I
we've
hate
got
needles.
we've got 4 viruses, 4 viral strains in this year's flu shot, okay, which is completely different than the past years.
We're in good hands here today.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Okay,
Dr.
Carmen.
Wong. I'll be right there.
Have a good day.
Well, that was easy. And there you have it. Flu shot 2020 done. What a well-organized clinic. Well, thanks for joining me while I got my flu vaccine this year, 2020, and I really encourage you to get your own and book early because it's busy. Talk to your doctor, your pharmacist, or go to Immunize BC, and we have one message for you, and that is, get your flu shot! Getting the flu vaccine is so important for those of us suffering from diabetes, heart conditions, cancer, obesity, and it's especially important for older Zoomers. When it's my turn to take the COVID vaccine, I'll be there. In the meantime, I'm doing my part every day, washing my hands, wearing a mask, and staying in my bubble. And with each passing week, the light at the end of the tunnel just gets brighter. That's the show. If you want to see a topic covered here, get in touch. And remember, as our Carpe president, Moses Neimer, always says, the best way to keep going is to keep going. So Carpe diem and seize your day.